Okay, this is our first video. Before we get into how interest works, we have to do a few introductory things in order to be able to solve our equations. The first thing is converting a percentage to a decimal. And when we have a 4% interest rate, it's the same thing as 4.00%. But we can't use the percentage in our equations. We need to use it as a decimal form. In order to convert the percentage to a decimal, we have to move the decimal 2 places to the left. So 4.00% becomes 0.0400. Now the zeros after the decimal, at the end of the decimal, they're irrelevant. So that just becomes 0.04. So 4% is 0.04. Now, the second thing we need to be able to do is evaluate our equation or an expression. For what we're doing, it's always going to be equations. But the order of operations, there's actually 4 levels, or 4 levels of precedence. The first is parentheses. So we're always going to look to do what's inside the parentheses first. The second thing we look to do is exponents. The third thing is multiplication or division. And the thing with this is, it's whichever comes first when reading from left to right, whether it's your expression or your equation. So just because it's multiplication, if division's the first thing that you run into after there's no more parentheses or exponents, you would do division before multiplication. And then the same thing goes with addition or subtraction. We do whichever one of those things come when reading the equation from left to right. So there's 4 different levels: parentheses, exponents, then multiplication or division, then addition or subtraction. When I was taught, a way to remember these levels was PEMDAS. Was an acronym that represented I'm so bad with English. I don't even know if it's an acronym. I believe it is. But PEMDAS is P for the parentheses, E for exponents. I put in parentheses MD because they're the same. Same thing with AS. And I put a little arrow above because, that represents we start from the beginning and we go from left to right. So that's the 4 categories. If I wanted to put numbers, I'd put 1 above the P, 2 above the E, 3 above the MD, and 4 above the AS. A mnemonic device to remember these orders that I also learned was "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally," where once again the P stands for parentheses, E for exponents. The only thing with that is, don't get confused with it's not 6 different levels. The MD, remember, it could be D before M. Could be division before multiplication. And then at the end, it could be subtraction before addition. So don't get confused there. So let's evaluate an expression. Say we had $100 times, in parentheses, 1 plus 0.04 divided by 4 raised to the second power. So when we have something like this, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look inside our parentheses. Now inside our parentheses, we have addition, but we also have division. So we're going to do the division part first. So we do 0.04 divided by 4, and what we have is we get 0.01. So we have everything from before. We have the 100, and then we have 1 plus 0.01 raised to the second. Now we're still working inside the parentheses, and now we're going to add the 1 plus 0.01. And now we have 100 times 0.01 raised to the second. So now there's nothing else to do in parentheses, but now we have an exponent. We have 1.01 raised to the second power. And when we do that, I'm sorry for my English, it's so sloppy, verbally and when I write this down. I guess this wouldn't be my English, it would be my penmanship, but so 1.01 raised to the second power became 1.0201. And now we only have one operation left. We have multiplication. We have 100 times 1.0201, and that becomes 102.01.